All right, let's dive into something that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie but is actually happening right now. Teaching artificial intelligence to third graders. Yeah, you heard that right. It's a pretty wild idea, and it definitely raises some big questions.
So let's just tackle the first thing on everyone's mind, right? When you hear AI for 8-year-olds, I bet you're picturing little kids hunched over a keyboard, staring at lines of green code. Is that really what this is all about? Are we trying to create an army of tiny engineers?
Well, here's what's sparking this whole conversation. There's a huge educational shift happening in India. We're talking about a brand new national curriculum that's going to teach AI and something called computational thinking to every student, starting in the 3rd grade. And this isn't just some small pilot program. This is a full-blown reform, set to launch across the country in 2026.
Okay, so you gotta ask, why? Why the big rush to teach such a complex-sounding subject to kids so young? Well, it turns out this isn't just about cramming another subject into the school day. There is a much, much bigger strategy at play here. In this quote, wow, it really tells you everything you need to know. India's Secretary of School Education says AI needs to be treated as a basic universal skill. It's not being looked at as some specialized tech class. It's being framed as a fundamental way to understand the world we live in today, just like learning about science or history.
And when you look at the national goals, you see just how broad this vision is. Sure, it's about preparing for a tech economy, but look closer. It's about developing problem-solving skills that apply to everything. It's about making sure every single student has access to this critical knowledge. And, crucially, it's about teaching ethics from day one, this idea of using AI for the public good.
So let's get into what this all actually looks like in a classroom, because it's time to bust a few myths. The way they're going about this might really surprise you. It's less about making kids think like a computer and more about just making them better thinkers, period.
This really breaks it down perfectly. The myth is that it's all about difficult code and just more screen time. But the reality? It's all about logic, puzzles, and finding patterns. And a lot of this happens through unplugged activities, completely away from a screen. See, the end goal isn't to churn out a bunch of programmers, it's to raise a generation of really creative problem solvers.
The secret sauce to all of this is a concept called computational thinking. Now, that sounds super technical, but it's actually a simple, powerful way to solve any problem. It just means 1, you break a big problem into smaller pieces, 2, you look for patterns, 3, you focus on the important details and ignore the noise, and 4, you create a step-by-step plan to get it done. These are skills for life, not just for coding.
All right, so that's the theory. It all sounds great, but what does this actually look like in a classroom with a bunch of 8-year-olds running around? Let's take a peek at the real hands-on stuff they'll be using.
And get this, we're not talking about sterile computer labs. The learning's happening through these awesome, colorful, and super playful activity books. The whole vibe is interactive and fun, so that technology feels like a creative tool, not something intimidating. And the activities are just brilliant. Picture this, kids co-writing a story with an AI, or dreaming up a crazy scene like a penguin playing guitar on the moon and watching an AI create it. They can even make simple games that respond to their own smiles. The coolest part is that through all this fun, they're learning core AI concepts, and they don't have to write a single line of code.
And this isn't just random fun and games. It's all guided by these really well-designed textbooks. And to give you an idea of the brain power behind this, some were developed by alumni from the Indian Institutes of Technology, or IITs, which are basically India's MIT. So it's a very structured and thoughtful approach.
You know, this isn't some far-off idea either. There's a real plan in motion. All the materials are set to be ready by the end of 2025. There's a massive teacher training program happening right now to get educators ready. And then, bam, it officially goes live in the 2026 school year. This is happening.
So let's just zoom out one last time and think about what the real end game is here, because it's pretty clear that this is about something much, much bigger than just the tech. At the end of the day, this whole thing isn't really about AI. It's about using AI as a vehicle to teach the next generation how to think, how to be creative, how to be critical, and how to be ethical in a world that is going to be filled with this technology. It's about building human skills for an automated world.
And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. For hundreds of years, being literate meant you could read and write. But if understanding AI is the new literacy, what does it even mean to be an educated person in the world of tomorrow?